MMA Boxing Talk here, coming at you with another video. Well, 6 days. 6 days until Manny Pacquiao and Timothy Bradley fight for the third time. Obviously it's a Saturday. I'm Jim Graham. Pacquiao Bradley 3. A lot of fight fans, not totally interested in this fight. Personally, I'm extremely interested in this fight and how, what transpires in the ring that night. I'm curious to see because I think this will be the most competitive fight out of the bunch. Despite one guy having to win a piece on the scorecards, in my opinion, many other boxing fans agree with me with that, is that Pacquiao won both fights, okay? He won both fights. But one thing, I don't think, Tim Bradley is bullshitting, is that, Bradley did suffer, an injury in their second fight. I believe it was a calf. He tore his calf muscle in 2 spots, apparently, accordingly. Now, I believe that to be true. I mean, who knows? Doesn't mean everyone, doesn't mean you all have to believe that. But that, could have played a huge factor in that fight, against Timothy Bradley. Not in his favor if he really did pull that calf muscle. Because you can't fight with a pulled calf muscle. I mean, it's very, very difficult. You're not the same fighter. But now you throw in the difference of a trainer. I mean, this is going to be a great fight. I just want to put out a little preview video because I'm excited. 6 days away. I'll put out a prediction video. A few days before the fight or whatever. But this fight it's really tough one to predict. It really is. The other 2 fights were competitive. Timothy Bradley is with a new coach, a better coach than his last one, according to Bradley. Because Bradley, I watched the thing on Under the Lights or whatever, the HBO special, and Bradley was saying, it's the first time in my career that I actually know where I have to be and know where I have to be and what punches to throw at that particular time. Where before, he wasn't getting trained properly, taught properly, And look at his fighting style. I mean, he was just getting into all these dog fights. I mean, it wasn't a technical fighter there, right? I think obviously Teddy Atlas is bringing more of the technical aspect to his game, improving in that aspect. Now, I was one to blame. I might have put too much stock into the Brandon Rios stoppage. First time Brandon Rios ever got injured, or first time Brandon Rios ever got stopped was against Tim Bradley, and just so happens that Bradley had just hooked up with Teddy Atlas right before that fight. But Brandon Rios came in out of shape. He was already at the end of his career pretty well. He had seen his better days. He had been through so many wars. But Bradley did look better, despite not getting. Bradley doesn't deserve like a ton of credit for that win against Brandon Rios, but Bradley did look good in that fight. He picked his shots, he picked his punches better. Shot selection, he was in and out more, more evasive. You know what I mean? Now, of course, that's easy, I guess, to do against a guy like Brandon Rios because even at his best, he was still a flat-footed fighter. Manny Pacquiao is the opposite of that, of course, right? Perpetual movement, as Mike Tyson likes to say. But Pacquiao, he's great footwork. He's always moving. He's in and out. He's hard to predict. Now, will Timothy Bradley be able to stick to the game plan of, not getting into a dogfight, not exchanging? Bradley wants to be smart about this fight if he wants to win it. I mean, but at the same time, Pacquiao's going to be putting in more work. He's going to be landing he's going to be landing on Bradley, and I assume. And will the game plan last? Will it hold up? A full 12 rounds against the Manny Pacquiao. That's an interesting question. That's why we're all friggin' tuning in. But or will Bradley just fight like he always had? But I really do think Teddy Atlas has a I think Teddy Atlas, has a strong influence on Timothy Bradley, and I really do think Timothy Bradley has a lot of trust in Teddy Atlas. So I really do think he's going to follow the game plan as best as possible. But I mean, this is going to be a great fight. I'm really looking forward to this. And Pacquiao, at the same time, he's coming off of a shoulder surgery. So will he be the same? He looks great in training. I can't deny that. But just a lot of interesting things about this fight. I can't believe it's this weekend. I mean, the rubber match. I mean, who would have ever thought that these guys would have fought 3 times? Leading up to their first fight, you would have never thought that these guys would have fought 3 times. Nobody would have thought that. And Tim Bradley was already a solid fighter when he was the king at 140 basically when Pacquiao fought him. So he wasn't no slouch, but things happen. Corruption in the sport, of course. But anyway, I just wanted to give my thoughts on this. Like I said, I'll be putting out a prediction video later on. Now, I'm really on the fence about this one. For me, it's a win-win situation. This fight. I'm a huge Pacquiao fan. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I love Manny Pacquiao. But truthfully, of course, I'd love to see Pacquiao 100% in a rematch with Floyd Mayweather. It'd be a different story. I'm not saying he'd win for sure, but it'd be at least a more exciting fight than the last one. More competitive, of course, and Pacquiao would have a better chance if he was 100%. Now, so I want Pacquiao to win, right? Of course, but on the same token, you know, Timothy Bradley's much younger. He's still in his prime. When you look at the last 5, 6 years, Timothy Bradley has arguably one of the best resumes in boxing, if not the best resume in boxing. Okay, this guy's fought a lot of good fighters, fight in and fight out. And the reason that is because, well, a couple reasons. I don't think he's scared of a challenge, obviously, and he's not scared of anyone. But also because he has a minimum of $6 million that he has to get paid per fight. So they can't put him in with cans because they're not going to generate any money. He needs to fight the best so the fight can generate money enough to pay him the $6 million that's stated in his contract that he gets every time, right? So what more do you want? A guy like this, if he beats Pacquiao, obviously Floyd's not going to fight him. Floyd's never fought him. There's a reason why. Because Timothy Bradley's an amazing fighter. There's a reason why he's on the pound for pound top 10 list. He if he beats Pacquiao, it would be great for the sport. Great for the sport because he's still young. He's gonna fight guys like Thurman and Porter and Kell Brook. He's gonna want those fights. If Bradley can beat Pacquiao decisively, that would be huge for him, and because everyone knows who Pacquiao is, and plus, people would be able to say, well, Timothy Bradley beat a healthy Manny Pacquiao more decisively than Floyd fighting an injured Manny Pacquiao. So right there, anyone that's not a Flomo, is going to realize that Timothy Bradley is for real. So, but that's if he wins, right? I mean, Manny Pacquiao could easily win this fight. I mean, he's won the 2 previous ones, but this is a different scenario. This is a different time, which makes this fight that much more interesting. And it's going to be that much more compelling and telling on where these guys are. So, anyway, I'm looking really forward to this fight. Tell me what you guys think. I mean, if you got Pacquiao, if you got Bradley, why? Why you got Pacquiao? Why you're taking Bradley in this fight? I'm curious to see what you guys are thinking. I'm really on the fence. It's a win-win fight for me because I'm a huge Pacquiao fan, and like I've been just saying, Timothy Bradley, if he wins, there's nothing wrong with him. A guy like that being one of the faces of boxing. Just his competitiveness, the fact, the sole fact that he just fights the best, fight in and fight out. So this guy, the real deal, Manny Pacquiao, the real deal. Um, it's a typical way Manny Pacquiao is going to go out, right? Supposedly this is his last fight, Manny Pacquiao. He's fighting a top 10 pound for pound fighter in Tim Bradley. We all know it's not Floyd Mayweather's last fight that he just had against Andre Berto, but he announced, just like Pacquiao, that it was his last fight, and he was fighting he was fighting a 25th ranked fighter in his own division, and Pacquiao's going out top 10 pound for pound fighter in the world. Typical of Manny Pacquiao, fighting the best always, and typical of Floyd Mayweather, not fighting the best always. So, anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Just a little preview video. I'm excited. I can't stop thinking about this fight. You also got Anthony Joshua taking on Charles Martin that day, which I totally haven't been thinking about. UFC's been crazy, but and then when I do think of boxing, I'm thinking of Pacquiao Bradley because it's upcoming fight. It's a huge fight, but Joshua Martin, that's a huge fight too. So anyway, tell me what you guys think. If you like the video, subscribe. MMA Boxing Talk. Peace.